Well, I'm going to cover a problem today that I've been having out of my Kioti tractor. This is a 65 horsepower turbocharged diesel. It is the DK65s, but I'm sure this covers many other models of this tractor as well, since they're all built on a similar platform and design. So let me tell you what the problem is I've been having. And I know I have some subscribers out there that this video probably isn't going to be of interest to you. But this video I want out there in case there's somebody else that owns one of these tractors like myself and they run into the same problem. Maybe I can save them a lot of time. So I'll show you here what the problem is that I'm having. So the problem I'm having is about the fuel tank. So it has a fuel cap right here on the side that you enter of the tractor, the left-hand side if you're sitting in the seat. So this is a fuel tank right here. It kind of saddles underneath the cab right there. And then it has a second tank just like it on what you call the right hand side if you're sitting facing forward in the seat. Maybe you want to call the passenger side, which there's not really a passenger on this tractor. This side doesn't have a fill cap. You only fill it from the other side. Under the bottom of the tractor here, coming out of the tank right there, is a crossover tube, and it goes across into the other tank there. So when you pour fuel, it'll move across and fill both tanks evenly at the same time. On each side of that, it has, let me try to get here closer and show you, it has a little place where you can drain it and clean any sediment out. There's one on each side out there as well. So the problem I'm having out of those two fuel tanks is that when I fill diesel in this one, the fuel is not going to the tank on the other side. It's staying empty and the fuel is only going in this one. So of course you're showing you on your gauge to run out of fuel real fast, man. You know, you're like, man, I just had that thing full and now I'm already low again. And it turns out that the other tank, as I said, was staying empty. So the first thing I did is I suspicion that maybe that crossover tube down there could have got sediment in it and plugged up. But I pulled those drain plugs and both of them were clear and clean, no problem at all, not any sediment. So that's good, the fuel system's clean. So then the next thing I did inside the cabin here is I removed this, the rubber mat that goes in the bottom of the tractor floor. I removed this inspection plate, the service plate, and to look for a vent tube on top of the fuel tank. Well, I could feel right down in there at the top of the tank. That is the fuel sending unit. And just over from it there, I could see that there was a rubber hose going directly in the top of the tank. That one right there turning down. So I suspicion that that must be the vent and that there must be some type of kink or bend or something holding it off. So I went to inspecting following it. And here on the passenger side of the tractor, here up from the step by the exhaust, with the help of my little wife, I reached inside and I wiggled the hose and she watched for what was going to move. And right up in here on the back of the cab, if I can get it back in focus, the one I've got the clamp off of there, right in the front of the cab, right behind the loader, there's that hose. So I raised the hood and I removed the side shroud off the engine compartment, and here I could see it right up here, right up in front of the glass cab there. There is the vent, and there's one on each side of the tractor, a left and a right. And I took a little piece of wire and I poked it right up in there, and I could feel debris coming out. And I said, that's the culprit right there. This has got to be plugged up. And you see it's a really clean area, but I pretty much know what could have done it. So right here on the engine itself is a good, fine example. Let me zoom in. You see that empty hole there on the side of that block? And let me see if I can get where the sun will go with me. There's that one. There's another one. I think there's another one here. Yeah, there's another one as well. Those is some type of little, like either spider or insect that goes around and just fills in holes, kind of like a dirt dauber does, but this thing will take any hole like that and encapsulate the end of it, and it will plant its eggs, its larvae, inside those holes right there. It's usually a white residue, and the other insects can do it as well. When they do it, that stuff right there is hard. It's like a little cement, man. It's like a little epoxy. And so you have to get something pretty strong to get it broke out of there and cleaned out. So as soon as I pulled that tube, I took the clamp loose and pulled it, I could hear the fuel sucking and gurgling down, transferring over in this other tank. Let's see if we can still hear it. So this with the clamp off of it. Let me get that thing pulled down. Yep, I can hear the fuel transferring across right now. Yep, and it has already dropped down. I had it full to the top right here. So as soon as I pulled that, the air started going and the fuel is passing to the other tank. There you have it right there. So I'll get me something to clean out and blow out that tube real good right there. And I'm gonna go ahead and check the other side as well. It's breathing now, but it could be partially plugged as well. And I don't want to just put air up into the end of that vent and blow into it and try to force it, because then I'm going to force it down that rubber hose and maybe lodge it in deeper. And you're also entering whatever that trash is into your fuel system, which you don't want to do either. So be sure, pull that rubber hose off first before you try to clean that out, so you don't drop that debris down into that hose. So there you have it, simple enough. As I said, this is a Kioti brand tractor. This same thing can apply to other tractors as well. If they have two tanks like that and a crossover tube, just check your vent first. You know, do the step by step. I suggest go right straight to the vent. I started at the bottom to look for that crossover tube to be plugged. If it's not a very old tractor, chances are it's probably an insect, mud slinging up, anything. If you've been having to get into muddy fields, you could also throw mud that could go up and plug that. So just check that out first. I hope this video helps someone out and maybe save you some trouble in the future. Appreciate all of you watching. Thank you and have a great day.